Good morning, everyone. Yeah, well, we're going to play the video first. First off, my father actually died from his second heart attack. My husband had a heart attack at age 51 3 years ago. So I wrote my second book for him. It's called Prevent a Second Heart Attack. It's basically about the Mediterranean diet and what you can do if you have diagnosed heart disease, even if you don't have diagnosed heart disease, what I think how all human beings should be eating and living on this planet for better health and longevity. But anyway, and then my father-in-law has heart disease. He had his first heart attack at 45, and then he had his second open heart a couple years ago, and thank goodness he's doing well. And actually, my brother passed away from at 56 from kidney disease, which was related to hypertension, which is a cardiovascular disease and certainly a risk factor. So this disease has hit me personally very hard, and so I have a passion to basically go out there and try and help people to understand, and this is what I want you to take away from my talk today, and I want everyone to repeat after me. Heart disease.
Heart disease
is a largely preventable disease with a healthy lifestyle. Okay? So understand that. All right, this is not something that you're destined to end up with. There are plenty of things that you can do to take control and to ensure that you live a long, happy, heart-healthy life. So that is the message that I want to get across to you, and you will hear me say this throughout and at the end of my talk, so that I hope that you will understand that what you do, when you pull that chair up to the table 21 times a week, okay, and maybe more, maybe less, think about what you put in your mouth, because that can affect your health. So I think that we can beat this, and we can beat this with a fork and a knife and a pair of sneakers. All right. So I wanted to start out by showing the American Heart Association the public service announcement, which I think is quite well done. So we'll talk about that if I can figure out how to do this. So let's see here. Who's going to help me? Oh.
Is this the short
Yeah,
one?
there. I think that's it.
It started out like a totally normal day. Mom! Okay, move objection deadline on the third line after survey. What are you doing down there? You fixed your breakfast? Don't hate each other. You just need something. Here. Okay, 5 minutes to carpool. You okay, Mom? Oh, I'm fine. Favorite sweaters. What do you want? Almond iron jump. You sure you're okay? I'm fine, sweetie.
I'm so late. What are you doing? Hey, honey. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You sure?
Here.
Acai, my favorite. See you guys later.
Where are your shoes? Put your shoes back on, please. You don't come off your sister. We're going in 3 minutes.
What am I doing?
I forgot to cut off the crust. Voila. Shoes on, potty if you need it. And get your sister. Okay, good. Go in. I'm getting a dustpan. Mom, I think you're having a heart attack. Honey, do I look like the type of person who has a heart attack? Totally fine. Don't forget to wear the high socks with the shin guards. Forget about the shin guards, Mom. Come on, Mrs. Anna is not going to wait. are you? I think I might be having a little heart attack. Nothing really, just some nausea, tightening of the jaw, dizziness, shortness of breath, muscle pain, achiness, just terrible pressure in my chest. Oh, really? You gave me your umbrella? 2 minutes. 10. I thought I had gas. Turns out I was having a heart attack. Heart disease is the #1 killer of American women. So now I take care of my heart, and I tell the women in my life to do the same.
Sounds great, by the way.
That's nice for you, but that's not my heart. Make it your mission to save your life and the lives of the women you love. Find out more from the American Heart Association at GoRedForWomen.org.
Okay, so your first thoughts.
Women don't have heart disease.
No, especially her, she's so young. But that's a true story. That's an actress, but she's reenacting a real life story. So, and women are getting heart disease younger and younger for some reason, especially strokes. So so it does happen in younger women, and also I think you can take away from this this trailer the main problem, I think, with women and heart disease. Women are we care for everyone except ourselves. And so, and I always tell my patients, they come in and they're concerned about their husband, and I tell them, that's wonderful to be concerned about your husband, but understand that heart disease is what kills most women. All right, so 1 in 30 women die of breast cancer, and as Dr. Spratt said, 1 in 3 die of heart disease. So so we need to take care of our hearts. And also you can take something away from this, and that is that the symptoms of a heart attack in women are different oftentimes very different from a heart attack in men. So women don't know that they're having a heart attack, and so they don't seek treatments. And that is not a good thing. So oftentimes women have nausea, and maybe a pain in their neck, or not that classic Hollywood elephant sitting on the chest man, grabbing his chest kind of thing. Women are different. So if you do feel any of these unusual symptoms, it never hurts. Just go get it checked out. So that's something else I hope that you'll take away from this. Okay, so how do we do this? We'll get this figured out one of these days. From the beginning, there you go. Okay, so my name is Dr. Janet Brill. I am a nutritionist. I specialize in cardiovascular disease prevention. I'm also an exercise physiologist, and I am the author of 2 books. One is called Cholesterol Down, 10 Simple Steps to Lower Your Cholesterol in 4 Weeks Without Prescription Drugs. That was my first book. And my second one, as I mentioned, is Prevent a Second Heart Attack, 8 Foods, 8 Weeks to Reverse Heart Disease. I am currently working on my third book, and it is called Blood Pressure Down. It's kind of a sequel to Cholesterol Down, and it's basically lifestyle strategies to get that blood pressure down, which is a major risk factor for a heart attack and #1 risk factor for stroke. And by the way, 40,000 more women get a stroke every year than men. So we are prone to that, so we need to watch that those blood pressure numbers. All right, so I'm going to talk about 10 lifestyle strategies. My expertise is in lifestyle medicine, So I work with the medical doctors, with the prescription drugs as an adjunct, and your lifestyle is the base of the pyramid, and then you build onto that with medications to rein in those risk factors, whether it be your blood pressure numbers. You need to know those numbers. We'll talk about that a little more in a minute. Okay, so the statistics are really, really scary for heart attacks and stroke. And when I talk about cardiovascular disease, it's primarily heart attacks and strokes. That's the umbrella term for cardiovascular disease. So over 80 million Americans have some form of cardiovascular disease. That's more than 1 in 3 of us. So that would be including heart disease and high blood pressure and that type of thing. Heart attacks and strokes was responsible for 1 in 3 deaths in 2008. And an American dies from heart disease about every 39 seconds. So, and then if we break down the deaths from cardiovascular disease, this is the most recent statistics from the American Heart Association for 2008. We see that most of those deaths were from heart disease, coronary heart disease. That's where the plaque builds up. It's called atherosclerosis. The plaque builds up in the arteries that feed the heart, and then a plaque bursts, a blood clot seals the artery, and then the blood going to the heart muscle is prevented from going to the heart muscle, and heart muscle dies. And in the medical world, they say that time is muscle. So that means, especially for all you women out there, that if you feel something wrong, you need to get out there and get it checked immediately, because time is muscle and heart attack is death of heart muscle. So, and the sooner that you get it checked out, the sooner that you can prevent damage. So anyway, stroke killed 17%. So you can see that it's largely heart attacks and strokes that was responsible for most of the deaths in 2008. And then if we look at the money, the cost of cardiovascular disease in this country is insane. Right now, I believe the 2008 statistics, this is for both direct and indirect, now we're talking billions of dollars here, is close to $200 billion, and it's projected by 2030 to, I think, shoot up to $800 billion, which clearly is going to break the healthcare bank. So that's why not only is it important to talk about heart disease and prevention for people's health, but also financially, prevention is where it's at. We must be a country now, we must be proactive, because as a country we can do better than this. We can focus on prevention, which is what is going to rein in these dollars. All right, so the projected cost, as I said, is just billions and billions and billions. Okay, so now is my my pop quiz. My question to you, and if you can get the answer, I want you to raise your hand if you have any idea what the answer is, and if you do, and you're right, then I will give you a free copy of my book signed. Okay. What was different about the year 1918 in the history of heart disease in this country? Now, the answer is that since 1900, heart disease has been the #1 killer in the United States every year but 1918. So my question to you, what was the leading cause of death in 1918?
The flu epidemic.
Yes. What was the name of the flu?
Spanish flu.
You are a very smart man. Very good. Here you go. Yes, it was the Spanish flu, which I think is very interesting, because that's why all the healthcare professionals get bent out of shape when we get these, the bird flu and the swine flu, because look what happened in 1918. Between 50 million and 100 million people worldwide died from the Spanish flu, about 500,000 in the United States. And this is an actual photograph from Fort Riley, Kansas, which I find fascinating. And this was what was put up as a public message that you need to prevent, because coughs and sneezes spreading this Spanish flu is as dangerous as poison gas shells. So I find that quite fascinating. All right, so back to my point of today. Heart disease is a preventable disease. Now, I don't know why, but I am not having sound with this. Is there some reason why? You know what? I think it's because the folder that it came with, it had to be, I think you probably just downloaded the actual PowerPoint, but it had all my music with it. So I guess it's too late.
Well, we had the heart beating in the beginning.
Right, but where's all my sound?
Let's see.
But that's
For
all
just a
right.
second.
Yeah. Okay, so this is supposed to have a beating heart sound. All right, well, while we're working on the technological difficulties, we will continue on. All right, so heart disease is a preventable disease, but where's the problem? What are we doing in this country? What kind of a lifestyle? Are we leading a heart healthy lifestyle?
Oh, he is.
Yeah, this is a typical American. All right, so he's overweight, and he's got weight around the tummy, which is really dangerous, and that is not where you want to carry that weight. He is smoking a cigarette, which is basically a death wish. He is, watching TV. He's a couch potato, and he's drinking sugar water. So he is doing everything wrong and everything right to give himself a heart attack and shorten his life. All right, so heart attacks and strokes are almost entirely preventable through healthy lifestyle changes. So what are those healthy lifestyle changes? It's not difficult. These are things that all of us can do that are quite simple. For example, what did you have for breakfast this morning? Did you have breakfast? Raise your hand if you ate breakfast. Raise your hand if you had oatmeal. Yay! Okay, oatmeal. It's very simple. It's a whole grain. It contains what's called beta-glucan, which is a spectacular type of what's called soluble fiber, the kind that works like a vacuum cleaner to suck that bad LDL cholesterol, to suck that cholesterol out of your system and just push it through so that you excrete it. It's nature's medicine chest. So it's a very simple thing. So one of my patients once said, my grandfather lived to be 105 and he ate oatmeal every single day. And my answer to her was, do what your grandfather did. Yes.
Two loud questions.
Sure.
Would oat cereal like Cheerios be the same?
Cheerios, if you don't like regular oatmeal, Cheerios are good because they contain the oats. The problem with food in general is when you start to process it, then you add in stuff. So Cheerios is oats, which are great, but it has sodium, it has things that are added in by the food processors. So if you can get yourself to eat the more closer to nature what Mother Nature made, for example, the steel cut oats, then you're always going to be better off. So, and yes.
What about oat bran?
Oat bran is great. So, but it's better to eat the whole kernel of oats, grain of oats, and then dump on some extra oat bran, or throw that oat bran in with baking and things like that. Yeah, so you're getting some good things with the oat bran, but you want to eat the whole entire oat the way it was supposed to be eaten. So I think that the steel cut, and now they have the steel cut that is. You can cook in 5 minutes in the microwave. It's really quite tasty. And if you become an oatmeal connoisseur, which I try and tell my patients is a really good thing to do, then you really will learn that the steel cut tastes way better because it has a better flavor, it has a better texture, as opposed to the mushy instant stuff. And In a pinch, if you're it's better to eat the instant than to not eat breakfast or to eat bacon and eggs. So you think of it like that. And I understand that people live a very busy lifestyle. So if you have to do in the microwave, that's fine. If you have to do the instant, that's fine. Throw maybe some added oat bran back on there. Yes.
Are eggs really all that bad for you?
It's the great egg debate. The problem with eggs is in the yolk, because the yolk contains about 220 milligrams of cholesterol. Now, if you want to lower your LDL, your bad cholesterol, through diet, the government, the National Cholesterol Education Program, suggests that you eat less than 200 milligrams of dietary cholesterol a day. So if you eat your eggs for breakfast, if you eat 2 scrambled eggs, you've already doubled the amount of dietary cholesterol that you should be eating. So I tell my patients to chuck the yolks and eat the egg whites, which are insanely low in calories. They taste really good. You can eat the egg beaters instead. And also, you're getting the egg yolks. If you eat out and if you're eating baked goods, they're hidden. So you're probably getting a lot more than you need. So I would suggest, even though there's plenty of debate out there, because there are people apparently that are sensitive to it in terms of raising their cholesterol, I always tell to my patients, if you want to give your lab bunny a heart attack, you add cholesterol to their chow. So, so if you can cut out the dietary cholesterol as much as possible, I think that's a wise move.
I love eggs.
Yeah, well, how about the egg whites? It's a great snack. Now you can buy the cooked hard-boiled eggs in the bags in Publix, already cooked, and it's a phenomenal snack. Give the dog the yolk.
The dog's gonna have a hard time.
I know, true. But then take your dog for the walk, and then they should be okay. Once a week. Give your dog 1 egg yolk a week. None.
That's really kind of good is the egg whites and add in all the chopped vegetables.
Oh, yeah.
And have an
Egg
white
beater,
omelet.
yeah. And if you love the yellow color and you want to think that you're eating eggs, use the egg beaters. It really tastes quite good.
And then you throw in a bunch of chopped up spinach or onions or tomatoes or whatever happens to be, kind of the version of Spanish omelet that you like.
Oh, yeah.
And then you've got something crunchy and something colorful.
Great idea. I make a phenomenal egg white omelet where I put arugula and chopped tomatoes and just a touch of a little bit of the low-fat feta cheese, and it's spectacularly delicious, I must say. Yes? Okay.
I put flaxseed on my oatmeal. Is that okay?
That is okay. That is phenomenal. Flax seeds are my favorite superfood. Flax seeds and chia seeds. So, and we will talk about that. But remember with the flax seeds that you need to grind them up. Okay, they must be ground. And they also, you can buy the pre-ground flax seeds, but if you have them pre-ground, then they must be kept in a sealed container in the refrigerator or the freezer. I keep mine in the freezer because the fats, the really healthy fats, will go rancid. So you have to be careful with that. Chia seeds, on the other hand, are filled with the good omega-3 and the soluble fiber and all the great stuff, but they are really easy to take care of. And they don't need any of that, any of the refrigeration, nothing. I love chia seeds and I love flax seeds. Everybody should be throwing that into their diet every day. Any other questions before I move on? We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Okay, so basically diet and exercise. And now we're going to talk about those simple lifestyle strategies to keep that ticker beating strong. Okay, number 1, we all know you shouldn't smoke. But if you want a heart attack, then you continue to smoke, because smokers are extremely prone to getting what happens is the plaque will break off and all kinds of things. Smoke is an irritant to what's called the endothelial wall. Heart disease really is happening. All the action in heart disease happens on the inner layer of the artery wall, and that's called the endothelium. So you want to protect your endothelium. You want to protect those endothelial cells. And if you want to hurt those little guys, then you keep on smoking and you keep your blood pressure really high because, and you keep your LDL, your bad cholesterol, really high because those are the things that irritate and promote the entry of this bad cholesterol into the artery and the buildup of this volatile plaque. It's called, it is a form of plaque that bursts, and the most common cause of a heart attack. So all of the steps that I talk about in my books and that I'm talking about today are things that you can do to basically stabilize, if you already have heart disease, stabilize that vulnerable plaque and prevent irritation of the endothelial cells. So don't smoke. That's just rule number one. Okay, number two, exercise. Now, I'm not saying you need to go out and run marathons, but how about if you have a dog, do you know that dog owners are healthier, have healthier hearts than people that don't have dogs? And why is that? Because people are more concerned about their dog's health sometimes than their own. So they take their dogs for a walk. And so their dogs are healthy and they're healthy. And I find that very ironic. But anyway, so even if you don't have a dog, okay, go out. And I know it's tough but it shouldn't be tough now. I mean, I came from Florida. I lived in Florida for 30 years, and it was easy to get out there because it was so beautiful. And then I moved up here. Last year was a little tough. But now, we have no excuse because the weather is so beautiful, and we have no snow. And on a gorgeous day like today, put those sneakers on and get out there and walk around the block or go walk in Valley Forge National Park and enjoy life. This is what the Mediterranean lifestyle is all about, which I'm going to be talking about, as I said, is the best approach to living a long and healthy life. So get those sneakers on, or if you like to swim, or if you like to dance, or just move. Americans like that picture of the man on the couch. We just do not move. We don't move at all. And if you think back over the years, I mean, and I tell people this, when I was a little girl in New York City, I used to walk to school. And that's like people that women, parents, as a parent now, I would be horrified at the thought of my kids walking alone to school. But we used to walk to school, and then my brother and I, when we would watch television, a little black and white Philco or whatever it was, we would fight over the TV channel. And if we wanted to switch the channel, now think about this, we had to get up, run across the room, and flip it. Now, you never have to move. We have created a society where we do not have to move at all. When I was a little girl and I was hot in the car, and I wanted to put the window down, I had to expend energy. I had to roll it down. Now, you press a button. So if you think about these, it may sound silly, but it's really not, because we have created a society where we do not burn calories. We do not expend any extra energy, and we work all day at a computer, or the kids play and watch DVDs and videos and things like that. So we have to fight back against that, and that means just trying to be conscious of moving more. So, and one way to do that is to definitely plan on putting those sneakers on and make a concerted effort. Another way is to just simply think about it, and it may sound silly, but park the car further away and don't do the drive-through. If you're going to go to Dunkin' Donuts to get your coffee with skim milk, you park the car and go in and you go get it. Don't do the drive-throughs. So little things like that will make a difference. So get that cardio exercise in, and especially the kind that gets your heartbeat going. Stairs, always opt for taking the stairs instead of the elevator and the escalator. Walk, run, jog, swim, bike, hike, dance, whatever it is. Try and get that in because it's good for the heart. Exercise is the best medicine. Okay, and then strength training, resistance training. I know the thought turns a lot of people off, but let me just explain that as we age, we lose our muscle. And the only way to prevent the loss of muscle is to do some kind of resistance or strength training. That means, and I'm not saying you have to go to the gym and do squats and, lift heavy stuff. I mean, but if you could get even just a couple dumbbells and do, do some kind of weight training, that would really help you quite a bit to prevent this loss of muscle mass. And it's actually the people as we age, if you want your golden years to be truly golden, you need to work on it now, because what happens down the road is those people that lose so much of their muscle, they can't perform the activities of daily living anymore. So that makes them dependent on others, and that's one thing that we don't want. So we want to keep our independence, and so the best way to do is to plan for that and to strengthen your body and fight back against that loss of our precious muscles.
Because when your kids left, they took all the weights with them.
Oh, right.
Then go into the cabinet and get a Progressive soup can, or a Progresso or Campbell's soup, and all you have to do is, 5 reps on one side, 5 reps on the other side with a soup can.
Good
and
idea.
You can work your way up to the juice cans, and pretty soon you work your way through all those things. But again, if you have no dumbbells at home, there's no excuse, because I'm sure you have a can of food somewhere in the cabinet, and you just sit there and monotonously do, even while you're sitting there checking your email, one
Right.
side on one and one side on the other.
And you can also sit on a chair and hold those cans and then just stand up, and then sit down and stand up. And that simple thing is going to strengthen your leg muscles.
How many
So
people would not like to have old lady skin hanging down? Okay? Me. And you take the can and you go like this
Right,
behind
triceps.
your head. And you might look silly. Don't let anyone see you doing this. They'll think you're a lunatic. But all you have to do is you do this 10 reps on each side, and it gets rid of the hanging arms down here. So you want nice, tight arms, and you want to look good in those dresses for the summer. But again, that's one simple exercise, is do the cans right behind the head.
and actually swimming, if you like the Y has an excellent pool and is very reasonably priced, and that's a wonderful sport. It's very soothing, calming for the mind, and if you could get in and just do some swim, it doesn't matter how fast you go, but just to work those muscles, it's a wonderful. It's good for the heart. It's good for the arms. Great exercise. Okay, so see if you could do that. And then one of my favorite topics, of course, which I wrote about and I love and I live like this. I pretend I'm in the Greek islands, and I eat like I'm in Crete, and I hope that you will do the same thing as well. And that means to eat the Mediterranean way. So what is the Mediterranean way? And basically, it includes some of those foods that have always been off limits that Dr. Spratt had mentioned, which is my favorite because it's a cinch to follow this diet. It's not deprivation like some of these diets out there that are being promoted for heart disease prevention. I believe that this is really the best, the optimal way to eat, and it's also easy to stick to because the food tastes great. So you want to eat fresh food, and by the way, you throw in a nice glass of red wine, and then for dessert, a little dark chocolate. X out that cheese, and then you're good to go. All right, so think plant fish, and we are not a fish flax society, so that's something I'd like you to keep in mind. If when you go to a steakhouse, there's no reason that you cannot order a piece of fish instead of a steak. It's very simple, and it tastes good. So, a lot of people don't like fish, which is fine. Then you move on. But this is basically when you think protein. Americans are very concerned about their protein intake. You always want to keep in mind, if you can go for a plant protein, then you're even better off. Because the plant protein, for example, lentils and rice. Anybody ever eat lentils? They're so really. I make the best lentil soup, I must say. And on a cold winter's day, oh, is that good? Okay, so lentils is Mother Nature's version of steak. only it's without. So you're getting the amino acids, you're getting the protein when you combine the lentils with some rice or something, or a nice crusty whole grain bread, and then you were basically getting Mother Nature's version of steak, but without all the excess baggage, the artery clogging baggage. And you're getting your protein for a fraction of the calories. So you can stay lean and heart healthy and enjoy your food. And again, you've gone with that plant-fish philosophy. So if you can cut way back on your thoughts of protein coming from the red meats and go instead more for fish and plants, and white meat, poultry is fine as well, then your heart will thank you for it. Okay, so 10 daily tips. Make extra virgin olive oil your main fat. Who likes olive oil? Now, tell me, this is not deprivation, okay? This is how you make food taste good. And you know, Homer called olive oil liquid gold, and Hippocrates called it the great therapeutic. So we have known this for centuries. And Hippocrates, he was a smart guy. And you know what else he said? He said, exercise is the best medicine, or walking is the best medicine. That's what he said. And I think that he was just a genius. You know, sometimes with all this complicated advice out there, maybe we should go back to the vintage stuff and look at what these really smart human beings said 2,000 years ago. Okay, and what else? He said some great stuff. Let food be thy medicine, and let thy medicine be thy food. So this is a guy, he lived 2,000 years ago? And walking is man's best medicine. So keep those thoughts in mind. All right, so extra virgin olive oil. It's such a beautiful fat. And I think it's unfortunate because there's a lot of people out there that are saying that you have to cut all fats out of the diet, and that is simply for good health, and that is simply not true. Yes, you cut the bad fats out, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but you throw in the good fats. Why is this fat so wonderful? First of all, because it tastes great. But keep in mind, though, that like all fats, it's very concentrated in calories. So the word would be drizzle, not dump or douse. Okay, and extra, it tastes great. And what I love about olive oil, first of all, because it's super heart healthy. It contains what's called monounsaturated fat, which strengthens the bad cholesterol, the LDL particle, against oxidation. So it's kind of like the rusting of a car. And if we can prevent this rusting of this LDL particle, then we can prevent plaque buildup, because it's the oxidized cholesterol that causes all the problems. So the beauty of extra virgin olive oil is it contains this fortifying type of fat, this monounsaturated fat, which is just fabulous. Not only that, olives are a fruit, and this is actually the most popular fruit juice in the world, which I find quite fascinating. And you make this extra, it has to be extra virgin, remember that, because that is telling you that you have taken the olives and you have basically, smushed them up with the pit and the seed and everything, and it's cold pressed. So all oils are made with a lot of processing that actually can cause the formation of trans fats, which is another really bad fat. So the beauty of the cold pressed extra virgin olive oil is it's basically does not have that intense processing, so it retains what's called the polyphenols, which are the really powerful plant antioxidants that help you prevent heart disease and ward off inflammation. And heart disease is what's called an inflammatory disease. We know that now. Scientists know that. So you want to put out that fire in your arteries, and you want to do it with the foods that are packed with these antioxidants. All right, so number one, eat the whole grains. Despite what some things I've read about, people are anti-whole grain now. I've just been bombarded with emails saying that whole grains are not good. Well, don't listen to that. Whole grains are good. What's whole grain? Give me an example of a whole grain.
Rye.
Rye, excellent. Rye bread. Who doesn't like rye bread? So rye is a whole grain. Excellent. Did you know that popcorn is a whole grain? Do we love this? Okay, and I'm not talking about the microwave popcorn where they throw all that garbage in there. Okay, or the movie popcorn that's popped in the bad oil. I'm talking about popcorn that you're going to pop yourself. And in the microwave, I take a little brown paper bag that, like a kid's lunch bag, and I throw those kernels in there, and I pop it in there with nothing. And it's basically air popped, or you can get an air popper. And then you can add your seasonings. You can spray some olive oil on it, and then I put a little, if I want something sweet, I'll spray it with a canola spray, the PAM. And then I'll put a little of the brown sugar Splenda, half and half, and it's quite yummy. And then you're getting a whole grain, which has all those vitamins and minerals and the fiber, and it's a beautiful thing. Oatmeal's a whole grain, so if you have a choice, always choose brown over white. It's basically as simple as that. Okay, olive oil, your main fat, we talked about that. Okay, marine omega-3s. Those DHA, EPA, anybody ever heard of that? The fish oil, the fish fat. Okay, it's a perfect, wonderful, beautiful food. And all of us, if you don't like fish, the American Heart Association suggests at least 2 fish meals a week, and we want to eat the fatty fish, like the salmon, and maybe tuna a little bit, even though it tends to be higher in the mercury. And get those marine omega-3s in. You can talk with your physician about taking a prescription omega-3 fat pill, Lovaza, and that's a nice way to get in some extra omega-3, particularly if you have high triglycerides. Okay, so fish, and then the plant. There's 2 kinds of omega-3s. There's the fish omega-3, and then there's the plant omega-3. So that's where the flax seeds and the chia comes in. Who here has ever tasted chia seeds? They're actually quite good. They kind of taste like poppy seeds. They look like poppy seeds. And you can dump that. I dump everything in my oatmeal in the morning. So that way you get it out of the way. And it tastes really good. So I throw flax seeds and chia seeds on my fast cooking steel cut oatmeal, and I make it with some soy milk, and I throw a couple of cranberries on there, maybe a few walnuts, and I get everything out of the way at breakfast. Okay, dark leafy greens. Popeye was right. Spinach makes you strong, not just your biceps, but your heart. So get those greens in. That's part of the Mediterranean diet. Try and eat beans. I think it's unfortunate that Americans have not embraced eating beans, except maybe baked beans at the July 4th barbecue. But beans are phenomenal, as I said before. Legumes like lentils and beans are spectacularly heart healthy. They are full of fiber, and they contain all those antioxidants. Did you know that red beans, red kidney beans, I think red and black beans are in the top 10 antioxidant list by the USDA for foods highest in those antioxidants which we want to eat. So, and chickpeas, they count as beans. So I tell my patients that don't like the idea of beans, you know, and a salad, just throw some chickpeas in your salad and you're good to go. Okay, nuts. Nuts are fabulously heart healthy, so a handful of walnuts. Walnuts are great. Almonds are great. You want to make sure that there's no salt added, so dry roasted almonds. And walnuts contain a lot of that omega-3 plant version of omega-3 that I talked about. So nuts are great. You don't want to go too nuts for nuts because they're very high in calories. They contain good fats, yes. They contain fiber, yes. But you want to eat them by the handful and not the bowlful. And with the Super Bowl coming up, keep that in mind. You want your air pop popcorn. That's what you're going to eat. Eat fruit, fresh fruit. Did you know that the people that live longest in Spain are the ones that eat fruit for dessert? So it may sound silly, but a piece of fresh fruit Did you know that they did a study recently that people that ate 3 kiwis a day lowered their blood pressure spectacular amounts? That's because kiwis first of all, kiwi contains what? 60 calories, 50 calories, and it's sweet and yummy. Who here has ever eaten a kiwi? I mean, it's Mother Nature's gift to humankind. So get some fresh fruit into your day. It's a beautiful thing. All right, cholesterol lowering functional foods. Anybody ever heard of plant sterols? Cholesterol is my favorite. It's a supplement. You can find it now. These plant sterols, they lower your LDL, your bad cholesterol. It works like a charm. It's an amazing thing. It's a natural chemical found in plants that's been concentrated, and what it does is it tricks your intestinal system into absorbing. Basically, the plant sterol is going to take the place of the cholesterol on the little bus that carries the cholesterol into your system. So what happens is the plant sterol masquerades as cholesterol and gets on that little bus so that the regular cholesterol gets excreted. And it works. It's really quite miraculous. And we were talking about the National Cholesterol Education Program to lower your LDL, what you should do, and they recommend plant sterols 2 to 3 grams a day. So what I tell my patients is, if you don't want to eat the food because we're all watching our calories, just pop the supplements. Cholesterol is a great supplement. You take 2 with each meal, and your cholesterol, your LDL is going to drop dramatically. 0 side effects. Yes?
So is that a pill that you take it, or is it food?
You can get it in food, or you can take the pill.
What kind of food is it?
Oh, they have a whole. You look in the supermarket, for example, the margarine spread, Promise, Benecol. You'll see on the label. It has to say contains plant sterols. So that's good, and I recommend that, and I recommend the light version of the margarine, so you save some calories too.
See, I don't use any of that stuff.
What?
I don't use any of the margarines or...
Oh, well, better to not use the margarines and use olive oil for your fat.
The only thing we ever use in my house is olive oil.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
Good for you. Then you need to take the pills. The brand is called Cholesterol, but you can go to any health food store and just look for phytosterols, plant sterols. It'll say something like that, and you want to aim for 2 to 3 grams a day, and you want to take them. It's more effective if you take them with meals. And finally, my favorite, dark chocolate. Yes.
What food would satisfy number 9?
Number 9 would be the foods that food processors have thrown in the plant sterols. So you're going to look in the supermarket. Sometimes they have orange juice, they have cheeses, they have yogurts, but it has to say on the label that there are plant sterols thrown in there.
So there's no plant.
There's no plant
natural.
Well, it comes naturally. I mean, you eat corn and you're getting plant sterols, but the problem is that it's not concentrated enough to affect your LDL cholesterol. So that's why you have to take the concentrated version, because you would have to eat, an entire field of corn. Yes.
What about this red yeast rice?
Red yeast rice is not my favorite choice, and I'll tell you why. Because it is a supplement, and it is not regulated like a drug. It is a supplement so you don't know that what you're taking is what's on the label. And basically, red yeast rice it actually has what is a substance that is actually a statin medication. And so what they did, so you're basically taking, if you get lucky enough to be taking the red yeast rice that actually contains this, which I don't know, I think they may have banned that possibility, because it is a drug, it's a statin medication. So that was the ingredient in the red yeast rice that's lowering the LDL cholesterol. So, but you're taking this not under a doctor's supervision. So if you want to take a statin, then it has to be done under doctor's supervision. With the red yeast rice, you never know what you're getting, and you don't know that you're getting the lovastatin that is supposedly in there.
Didn't the pharmacy groups oppose it?
Of course.
Because it was what they're manufacturing and charging.
That's true. They oppose it because they want you to take the prescription, but I think it's a wise move to take the prescription, and you have to be very careful about the supplements that you take because there's not regulation. See, when you're taking an FDA supervised medication, a prescription, you know 100% certainty that what you're taking is what's on the label. That's why I like the fish oil. If you're going to mess with fish oil, I would take the prescription because you know that it's been highly regulated and that you're getting exactly what you're paying for and you're putting in your mouth. And so the red yeast rice, you don't quite know. There's been a lot of controversy, and there's no watchdog there to see that what's in there is what you're going to be taking. So I would, and if you need a statin medication, don't take the red yeast rice. Take it under your physician's guidance. Yeah.
What is statin?
Statin is a drug like Lipitor that lowers your bad cholesterol. It stops your liver from producing this bad cholesterol, the LDL, and it's the LDL cholesterol that's the bad stuff. You can think of, there's two types of cholesterol. There's LDL, which is a low density, and you can think of L for lousy or lethal. And then there's HDL, which is the good cholesterol, and you can think of H for healthy. So you want to get that HDL number really high and that LDL number really low. Okay, so how do we live a long life? Yes?
How do you feel about niacin?
Niacin is fabulous. I think it's great.
Because there are products that have
Which one are you taking?
combination of
Yeah.
niacin and phytosterol.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Well, niacin is great. The only problem with niacin is that there can be side effects. And so I always suggest that people take the niacin under their doctor's supervision, and certainly take the slow niacin because that has actually been proven. It's been proven in studies to be very effective for raising HDL, and I think that it's a great underused vitamin for heart health. Yeah.
Another quick question. If you are taking statins, even a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
I've read that you should take coenzyme
Q.
Q10.
Yeah, Q10.
Is it?
Sounds good to me. Anybody ever heard of that? Because there's been some controversy that the statin medication can actually lower the concentration of CoQ10. So I see nothing wrong with taking it, and that may help possibly prevent side effects. So I think it's great.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. So how do we live a long, healthy life? Yes.
I've got a question.
Oh, go ahead.
I've been taking statins for years,
Good for you.
and I found at one time I was losing the muscles in my legs.
Oh, because yes, the
Apparently
side
this
effect.
is caused. This is a side effect.
Correct.
In some people.
I know.
And I was looking it up, and they said that there are two types of statins. One is fat soluble.
I'm going to turn this question to Dr. Spratt.
No,
I'll answer your question. So it's hydrophobic and hydrophilic. So there's
Right.
so there's two different kinds. And we will address your question on statins after Dr. Brill gets through the rest of her discussion here. But I promise we will talk about that.
okay, fine.
Okay, so back to how do we live a long, healthy life? Okay, there's this fabulous study that was done in people ages 70 to 90. So we're talking older people here in Europe. And they found that those people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s that were eating a Mediterranean diet and getting some exercise in every day had 65 to 73% lower rates of death. So if you want to live a long, healthy life, and you're even up there in those numbers in age, then switch to a Mediterranean diet and get more active. It's as simple as that. And enjoy your vino with dinner and love life. And here we go. Okay, so drink a glass or two of red wine with dinner, only if you can drink safely. Of course, this is a drug that is responsible for some horrible things in our society. So if you can, only if you can drink safely should you drink for your heart, and that would be women 1 glass of red wine a night, and men 2, up to 2. Okay, and make it red. Why? Because look at the color. Anytime you have a question about what's nutritious and what's not, and I'm not talking like red jelly beans here. If you have a question about what is better for your health and contains, you want to go for the beautiful colors. So just color your plate and you should be good to go. So you will always choose red over a glass of white, because the red, look at that gorgeous color. That contains that the resveratrol that everyone's heard about, and all those anthocyanins and all those powerful plant chemicals that soothe the inflammation. Yes.
If you don't drink, is there something else that gives the benefits of red wine?
I'm going to get to that in my talk. So
Okay.
we're going to finish her talk, then we're going to take a little quick break, and we're going to stretch, do a little power stretching, have a little sip of wine, and a little bit of chocolate. We have glasses of wine now for you. And so, and then she's going to be doing some book signings, and then we're going to come back here at 11:30, and we're going to talk about all the health benefits of wine and chocolate.
Yay! Then I won't really get into this. I have 5 more minutes, so let me just get through the rest of these. We're going to eat the dark chocolate. Now tell me, this is not deprivation here. But just remember that when it comes to chocolate, the devil's in the details, because there's lots of calories, lots of sugar, so you want to eat a little bit. Okay, and as I said before, you got to watch where the fat is. If you have it around your tummy, that's much more dangerous than if you have it in your rear end or your thighs. So that's something to be aware of, and to get that exercise in so you can get that down. Okay, stress is a killer. And it actually caused my husband's heart attack. So believe it or not, it can it can harm you. So so you want to try and release stress in a helpful manner, because there will always be stress in life. So it's all how you deal with it. All right, and how do you deal with it? That's me with my new puppy. That's how I deal with it. And exercise, and so a lot of people like this meditative stuff. So whatever turns you on, that calms you down, is a wonderful thing. And we need to release the harmful stress. Okay, weight. How do you lose weight and keep it off? You eat less and exercise more. It's not about the carbs, and it's not about this, and it's not about that. It's basically you're eating too many calories and burning too few. So portion size, and eat healthy. If you eat small, healthy, beautiful amounts of beautiful food, like Mediterranean style food, and you get your walking in, you should be fine. Strive for the good and the ideal levels of the good and bad cholesterol. That means set those goals. Good, you want to try and get that up over 60, and bad under 100, and if you have heart disease, you need that bad under 70. Okay, and then get those, it's all about numbers. So all of you need to know your numbers and get that blood pressure down, which is my next book, by the way. And why? Because you'll get a stroke from high blood pressure, or a heart attack, or kidney failure like my brother. So so you need to rein in your blood pressure, and you want to stack the odds in your favor. And basically, again, I love this study because they looked at women, and they found that there were four lifestyle interventions for living a long, healthy life. No smoking, exercise every day, Mediterranean diet with some wine, and healthy body weight. And if you did all 4 things, then in women, it cut the risk of of a heart attack by 92%. So what did I say in the beginning of this lecture? Okay, repeat after me. Heart disease is a preventable disease. Okay, with healthy lifestyle changes. So heart attacks and stroke does not have to be you. And ask yourself today, are you doing what it takes to prevent a heart attack and a stroke in yourself? And again, let food be thy medicine. Let thy medicine be thy food. My favorite guy, Hippocrates. Thank you very much.